My ring light is not on. Hold that thought. This is Hardly Minding My Business. I'm your girl Dashing D, aka Dash, and we're here. We made it to Friday. Barely, but we made it. So, but seriously, I don't know how I feel about this lipstick, so please bear with me. Like, it looks like my face, basically, almost. So, I don't know how I feel about it, but I tried it. I said, let me try it this one time. Let me put away my reds and magentas and hot pinks and try something a little bit different. Maybe this is more of a fall color, but in any event, we have some things to talk about today. I'm going to start, though, with things I forgot. Well, something I forgot. Well, first of all, before we even get to what I forgot, y'all, my robot vacuum is a monster. It's a fucking monster, okay? I don't understand what's going on. There have been multiple times where I have come home and my robot vac has not been where it's supposed to be. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, can't you set it to go and do its thing while you're not home? Absolutely. I do not have any of that set up. I thought it just started to move. I don't have any of that set up. So color me surprised when I came home a few days ago, and I noticed my ring light was on the floor. And I'm like, why the hell's my tripod on the floor? I didn't put it there. The reason I don't have it set to go automatically is because my tripod stays up all the time. I do 2 podcasts. It's just easier to keep the tripod up. So I keep it here in this room, in this spot. Whenever I use the robot vac, I move it and I take it out of reach so it doesn't get dragged or it doesn't topple over or whatever the case may be. I get home and I'm like, okay, the tripod is on the floor. I also have a hand vac that it completely took out. That was laying on its side. It's usually sitting upright. I feel like the little bitch was like, so you cheating on me with this vacuum cleaner? I just don't understand. Anyway, not the point. So then I go into my bedroom and I have this mirror that I was probably supposed to get rid of a really long time ago. It was a really cheap mirror that I just bought because I needed a mirror and I hadn't found the right mirror yet. I still had it in my bedroom and I was like, oh, I'll get rid of this whenever. It's good to just like, I walk by it sometimes and, check myself out or whatever. It is on the floor and it is shattered, okay? Shattered. And where do I find the robot vacuum? Heading into my closet. It was off, which means it died at some point. But it was heading into my closet, going to wreak havoc. I'm sure there would have been shoe boxes everywhere if it had really made it into my closet. I don't know what to do. I guess I need to go into the app and like really try to set it up and see if I could, I can schedule it. But for a time when I'm actually at home, I don't need this happening when I'm not at home. And this has to be maybe the 3rd time I've noticed that it went off on its own, but this is the first time it did damage. So that little monster either has to go or we got to figure something out because I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, so something I forgot to say to talk about last pod was, y'all know how I'm awkward, I say this all the time that I'm a little awkward around men. I don't always know when they're hitting on me. Sometimes I'm thinking that we're having a friendly moment and that's it. And sometimes it's not that way. I don't like to assume that people are interested or hitting on me or whatever the case may be, unless there is something blaringly obvious. So, and maybe this was obvious, because I told somebody this story and they were like, girl, what did you think was happening? Anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all anyway, even though y'all gonna say I'm stupid, but it's fine. So I was changing internet providers, right? So I had the appointment scheduled for someone to come and install with the new provider. So this guy comes, black guy, probably I would say in his mid 40s. Was he attractive? I mean, he was okay. Like, he wasn't really my cup of tea, but he wasn't bad looking either. And I just wasn't, that's not the type of time I was on. Like, if you come in to install the internet, put a router in my living room, I'm not looking at you like that. I'm not thinking about that. But anyway, the point is, he comes inside and he's doing his work or whatever, and we're chatting, you know, because he's in there, and I couldn't get any work done because he kept asking me questions about like where everything was, and I was just like, all right, I'll just wait until he's gone to continue my work. So he starts asking me like random questions, and we're kind of chatting just about, you know, different things. I noticed his accent. So I asked him where he was from. He told me where he was from. The conversation really started though when he passed by one of my plants and it says to me, is this real? And I said, no, there are no real plants in here. And he was like, you don't have any real plants? And I said, no. My plants are faux because as much as I think that real plants are beautiful, and they're great for the environment, they're great for your home and the air quality in your home, I haven't had good luck with plants. And because I haven't had good luck, eventually I just said, fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just going to go with faux. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been pleased. I've been fine. No complaints. He seemed concerned, which that's his business. At that point, I realized, oh, this is a plant person. I know because I know plant people, and they get very like, oh, is that so? Yeah, I can't. Sounds like I kill plants. He was like, you don't kill plants. And I said, well, I've killed some plants. And he was like, you can't kill plants. And I said, oh, okay. All right. I see where we're going with this. So he proceeds to tell me that he has 40 plants in his home. And that most of them he's gotten from customers that give him plants. Like I guess he'll see a plant dying or something like that, and he'll mention, oh, I could bring that back to life and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. He starts showing me pictures of his plants. I'm like, okay, this is like crazy plant guy, but that's cool. You know, that's lit. Like one of my closest friends, like she learned how to take care of plants. And I don't even know how many plants she has at this point. All I know is that plant people are plant people. And, you know, they should be respected because they do amazing things with plants, and they make sure that plants are well taken care of. They talk to them, they name them, they do all kinds of things. I tried that and I just wasn't that person, and that's totally fine. That is totally fine. But I respect plant people. I do. I wish that I could have lush greenery in my home, but nah, as I sit next to this faux plant. Anyway, so leaves, he's like, you know, so we end up getting into this conversation about the plants and the different types of plants. And I told him the types of plants I've had. And he was like, oh, okay, well, some of those you shouldn't have had if you need a low maintenance plant. And he starts showing me one particular plant, and I was like, oh, that's a beautiful plant. He said, this one is really easy to take care of. He was like, how busy are you? I was like, I'm pretty freaking busy. And he said, this plant would be a good plant for you. So I thought he was just gonna give me a couple recommendations and move on. And then he was like, you know, is it okay if I text you? He was like, I have a plant that I'll give you. And I said, oh, okay. Because he told me that, you know, the customers and the plants, and I just figured, oh, okay, so he's also like a plant giver. So, all right, cool. Sends me a text, and no, doesn't send me a text then, but later on in the day, after he's long gone, before he leaves, and this is where I was turned off by the whole plant thing. Before he leaves, he kind of looks back at the plant that he had originally noticed and goes, you gotta get some live plants in here. And I said, okay. And he said, because I don't know what's going on here, but this and I don't know what you're going through, but this home is sad. and you need some plants. And I said, oh, okay. I just finished telling y'all a few days ago that I feel good and I feel at peace, and this man is telling me my home is sad. I was just like, man, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do, but cool. So hours later, a couple hours later, I get a text that says, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you. And it was nice chatting with you. How is your internet service doing? So I was like, I thought he was gonna text me about the plants. And I didn't have time. I was still working at that point in the day. So I just kind of put my phone away and was like, oh, I'll deal with that later. I don't really know what to do with this. I don't know if I want to respond to this person. So I didn't respond. I honestly and truly didn't remember that I even had the text. I just kind of moved on with my day, and days went by. That was maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. That was Wednesday. Now Sunday comes and I get a text, and I'm like, who is this? I don't recognize this number. And I look at the text and realize it's him. And it is a text that says, good morning and happy Sunday. I wrote some of it down. Good morning and happy Sunday. Something like, I hope you're doing okay. I didn't write everything down. He said, I'm listening to this and thinking of you. Would love to share it with you. Please listen and I will help your morning with all my affection. And then underneath it is a link to the Four Seasons, Antonio Vivaldi. Classical music. Okay. I said, I think I misread the situation. I think this man is, in fact, hitting on me. Now, I will say, prior to that, I've reached out to someone and I say, hey, I don't know if I misread the situation. Okay, so I guess at some point I did remember the text, because I remember asking somebody, like, you think something is up with this? Like, this person was, talking to me about plants and said, they have all these plants and they were like gonna propagate a plant for me. And I thought it was really kind. And, I don't know if I want another plant in the house, but I feel like we had the conversation. So if they hit me up and say, oh, okay, I'm gonna drop off a plant for you, then whatever. I'm done. So then, so they're like, it sounds like he's trying to hit on you. You should probably block him. And I was like, you know what? You're probably right. I ended up, at that point, like I said, I ended up forgetting about it and didn't even deal with it. So when I got this text on Sunday, I was like, well, shit. How did I not see this coming? How did I not see this coming? Antonio Vivaldi, though, that's very interesting. I also find it really interesting, like, my home has very music-centric things in it. Not a whole lot of music-centric things, but there are, like, key identifiers that I'm into, like R&B. Like Erykah Badu, for instance. You know, she's lived in my home as long as I have. And so classical music was a little left field for me. I said, oh, okay, well, maybe he's trying to put me on. I never clicked on it simply because I just felt kind of weird after I got the text message. He didn't say anything particularly inappropriate. I just felt like, okay, so this is not about plants. And I really thought this was about plants, and it's not about plants. And yes, friend, you were right. It wasn't about plants. What a fool. Anyway, I blocked him because, sir, I don't, no thank you. No thank you. No shade. I mean, but no thank you. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm not, you know, I'm not interested, but thank you for the song. Like I said, I never clicked on the song. I can guess. I'm sure I'm pretty sure I know the name. It's probably something I've heard before, but I was just like, let me just close this chapter. As soon as it opens, just close it. And then we could be done with it and I don't have to think about it anymore. So that's what I did. I blocked him. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, I know I'm foolish. I know, I get it. I understand. It's just that sometimes I'm not thinking about those things. Sometimes I'm seriously like, but it is what it is. Like, or maybe it's just wishful thinking that it is what it is. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's over now. You know what else I forgot? I forgot to mention when I talked about Roots Picnic, I totally forgot to mention that Lauryn Hill was one of the headliners. I talked about Usher, but I didn't talk about Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill did a great job. She did. She was a little out of breath at certain moments when she was singing. But you know, it's been 25 years since The Miseducation came out. I would like to report that she only came out about 15 minutes late, which is on time for Lauryn Hill. Okay? So we were pleased that Miss Hill, you know, decided to grace us with her presence almost immediately at the start of her set. And it was great. The way the music was arranged was a little different, which, you know, you could argue that after 25 years of not getting any other music, we kind of want to hear the music the way it is. But she did a great job. She brought out Pras and Wyclef, and that was super cool. And they did some of their songs. Yo, whenever Ready or Not drops, when you first hear her voice, that first Ready or Not, oh my gosh, I get chills. I just feel like it takes you back to where you were when you first heard the song. I always feel like that about that song. So it was very cool to see them in action. They look so excited to be together on stage. And that was dope. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I was like, I can't believe I just glazed over that. And I mean, I loved and still love the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I remember I couldn't have been that old. I was young, but I remember I used to take all of my dad's CDs. He would have what was it, Columbia Music Group, where you could get the 12 CDs for $1 or whatever it was. And I would take his CDs and I would listen to all of them on full blast in our living room when everybody else was upstairs doing whatever they were doing. I would be downstairs in the living room getting my whole life off of music that I probably shouldn't have been listening to. So Miseducation was one of those albums where I used to run that back over and over and over again. I knew every word. I knew every interlude. I mean, man, so it was really nice to see her perform. And like I said, it took me back. It made me feel very nostalgic. But yeah, so there's that. I also forgot a lot of things. I also realized that I mentioned the Little Mermaid and then said I was going to talk about it and completely forgot to talk about it. So, you know, doing things a little bit out of order today, but let's talk about the Little Mermaid. Halle Bailey was great. I think she did a great job being Ariel the Mermaid. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't remember the original story. Like, I remember it in a very bare bones way, but I don't remember all of the details of it. So the story itself to me was fine. I'm sure that, you know, people who remember the story better probably can pinpoint details that were changed or modified. But to me, it seemed pretty true to the original story. But again, I really don't remember all the ins and outs of the first one, and I didn't watch it prior to watching this one. I know there was a lot of conversation around Melissa McCarthy playing Ursula. I didn't really mind her playing Ursula. I thought she did the job. What I did have a problem with was what's his name? Daveed Diggs. He played Sebastian the crab, who is from an island, you know, one of them. Why don't y'all ever just get, if anyone out there is listening, why don't y'all ever just get actual people from the Caribbean to do this type of work? Or, I don't know, it's a reimagined version of the story. Maybe give him a different type of accent, or I don't know, something. I don't know. But all I know is that this faking a Caribbean accent and turning it into this caricature that seems simple and foolish and silly, and you know, real people actually have Caribbean accents, right? Like, it was not good. It was not good. He was not good. I'm sure he's lovely, but he was not good. Anyway, those are my thoughts as far as the CGI and all of that. I know that a lot of people have been talking about that as well, and the fact that it's not that great. I don't know what it should have looked like. I don't know what it should have looked like. I mean, like, it was a children's movie. So to me, it did what it was supposed to do. I wasn't looking for anything particularly sophisticated. If I was watching a completely different film, then maybe I would have more to say about that. Y'all know I'm very, like, interested in things like the camera work and, you know, the angles and the lighting and all of that. But this time I wasn't really paying much attention to that. I saw it in 2D. I had to put on them glasses. I was afraid because when I went to see Wakanda Forever, I got very nauseous. It was 3D and it was IMAX. It was lovely to see it that way, but it made me nauseous. So I don't know. This was what it was. Like I said, I think Halle Bailey did a great job, and I'm excited for her and everything that she seems to have in store. She's gonna be in The Color Purple, that's coming out in November, so that should be cool to see. And I feel like she unlocked another part of her career. I know that she's done acting. It's not like she hasn't done acting, but this is a pretty big deal. So I'm excited to see what she has in store and what she's gonna do next. Speaking of people who act, John Boyega is on the cover of Ebony magazine in all white. You know how they do those covers now where it's like a live cover and you can see the person moving in the middle of the photo shoot? It was actually pretty cool and pretty interesting. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, you know, I haven't lusted over anybody in a while, and I'm not going to today. John Boyega doesn't really do it for me. He's an attractive man, but he doesn't do it for me. But he's an attractive man. I'm not gonna swoon or lust, but he looks good on the cover of Ebony. And I thought I should point that out. You know, we like to see when attractive black men grace, here I go, grace the cover of magazines. We love that. We love to see that, and good for him. Yes. And he's an attractive black man who is on the cover of Ebony. Now, people are concerned because they said when men go on the cover of Ebony, you know, they end up with allegations against them. Like one Jonathan Majors. Let's pull over for a second and talk about Jonathan Majors. There's really not a lot to say. I have been scouring the internet trying to find information on what happened to his June 13th court date. Can't find anything. All I know is that a few days ago, Marvel decided to push back a bunch of their films that they have coming up in this, what is it, phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a bunch of films. It gotta be like 6 films, namely the Avengers film where he was supposed to be a major player. So that was pushed back a year. That was supposed to come out next year, and it got pushed to 2025. Now, blogs are saying that it's in connection with his legal issues, but I don't really know. There's nothing to confirm that. You know what else? There's nothing to confirm. I know I'm all over the place, but hey. Now, there's a rumor out there right now that Tyler Perry is in fact going to buy BET. Notice how I said in fact? The thing is, it's not a fact. It's a rumor. If you actually do your research, no one of note has come out and said anything about Tyler Perry owning BET. A blog posted that Tyler Perry won the bid and is going to be purchasing BET. I think the original blog site ended up deleting the story, but all of these blogs and people who aren't credible sources, including Earn Your Leisure, posted that Tyler Perry is in fact buying BET. This is a rumor. This is not based off of anything but my own personal research. This is a rumor. This is not real information. Unless this information came from an actual trade, a place where they actually report news on things like media and advertising. I'm talking about Bloomberg or CNN or Advertising Age, or there's a long list of publications that you can count on to tell you the truth, because they are required to thoroughly flesh out any information or any announcements that they give the public. Why is it that places that reported on the fact that BET was going to be sold have not said anything? Duh, because it is a rumor. Now, I know some of y'all out there know a little bit more than I do. You know who you are. So if y'all know something, hit me up, because I too would like to be credible. Anyway. But yeah, it's a rumor right now. Maybe it's true. I'm not saying it's not true, because I don't have any information to tell you that it's not true, but I also know that it has not been reported as fact. Paramount has not said anything about it. Tyler Perry Studios has not said anything about it. BET has not said anything about it. That is a dead giveaway that may not actually be true. We do know that Paramount confirmed that they were shopping it around. That is confirmed. That is, you can find that information. That information is readily available to you from credible sources on the internet. He actually made the purchase or is making the purchase is not factual information. Not yet, anyway. If it does become real, then it becomes real. And if it doesn't, I think it would be really funny if this was like an okie doke and it's really someone else and this story got leaked just to throw people off of their scent. That's what I think would be funny, and kind of hoping that that's true. Not that I wouldn't want Tyler Perry to own BET. I think I've been very vocal about my opinions about this. You know where to find that. It's actually not here on this podcast, but you know where to find that. So yeah, I just said a whole lot. That was a mouthful, but congrats to John Boyega on his cover. We will not congratulate Tyler Perry, as we don't know what's going on with that. And if anybody has found any information on what happened with the court date that was supposed to happen this week with Jonathan Majors, hit me up and let me know, because I would love to know. I said that I was going to talk about it as much as I didn't want to, but now it's curious. It's a mystery that information, not even, hey, this got postponed. I can't even find that. So a little strange, but we'll see what happens. What else do we need to talk about? I should point out that August Wilson's The Piano Lesson is going to be, it's already a film, but Denzel Washington, that is, and his sons are actually working together to create a 2023 version of The Piano Lesson that will air on Netflix. I think this is really interesting. So August Wilson is a playwright from Pittsburgh, I believe. And y'all know I love me some John David Washington. I think he's dope. I think it's really interesting too, because when I've talked about John David before, I've pointed out the fact that he's really worked hard to establish himself as an actor and kind of distance himself from his dad. He's been vocal about the fact that he didn't want his career to be built off of people just knowing that his father is Denzel Washington. So I find it really interesting that now him and his brother are going to be working with their dad on this film. So Malcolm Washington is a co-writer of the screenplay, and he's also director of the film. Denzel is noted as a producer, and John David will be acting in it. So I think this is cool. I love to see it. I mean, dad and his sons like making a movie together. Psst, love it. I'm into it. So I don't know when that's gonna be coming out. I know they started filming that back in April, so maybe we'll get it by the end of the year. I guess we'll see. But I thought that was really cool. Also on my list, and this is, you know, has nothing to do with the blacks, but, you know, everybody loves Wheel of Fortune. And Pat Sajak is finally retiring. I can't believe, like, okay, we know that Jeopardy's host was replaced because the host passed away. And now Wheel of Fortune, like, what happens to Wheel of Fortune when Pat Sajak retires? Does it go away? Do they get another host? Do we want another host? I gotta be honest, I haven't seen Jeopardy since the new host started. I don't know what's going on with that. But, and will Vanna, y'all think Vanna's gonna, like, what's gonna happen to Vanna? Is she gonna host? Would people be into that? I feel like let Vanna do it. If Vanna's willing to stay, let Vanna be the host. We know Vanna. We've grown up with Vanna, okay? She's been around for a really long time, and, you know, maybe this is her time to shine. I don't know. I honestly haven't read up on it too much, so I don't know if there is a plan for it. I don't know if it will be canceled or if it will continue, but I'm curious about that. I'm gonna have to do more research on that and find out exactly what's going on with that, because what an end of an era. I mean, Pat Sajak? Have y'all seen Pat Sajak recently? The man looks like plastic. His face doesn't move, and it hasn't for a long time. That's neither here nor there, but I just figured I'd point that out because, woof. I looked at him one day, I said, well, how much plastic surgery did you get done, Pat? Woof. I guess when you gotta be on TV for 40 years, eventually you're like, well, let me get do a little tune-up, you know? Get this Botox popping, a little facelift or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. At what point on this podcast am I gonna be like, I don't know. We'll see. I did want to talk about, I have one last topic. There's no real what I'm watching right now. I know I did mention that I'm going to watch Tiny Desk. That is my plan for this evening. I have not done it yet. So I can talk about that next week. But what I will say is I am looking forward to the BET Awards, to harken back a little bit, because there is supposed to be, it's supposed to be centered around hip hop this year because of the fact that it's been 50 years. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop this year. So I'm hoping that it goes well. I'm hoping that it's gonna be a good show. I love me some hip hop, so it gotta be good, right? They can't fuck it up. There's a bunch of hip hop related things happening this year. Some of it is happening in New York. I'm trying to hit some of it, but man, I hope it's good. I really do. They did it at the Grammys. The Grammys did okay. I feel like BET has the resources and the capability to knock this one out of the park, but I don't know. And I feel like even with the Grammys, like, they were going in the right direction, and at some point it got derailed. So I'm curious to see what's gonna happen and how this is gonna go, but I hope that it's good. I hope that it's something enjoyable for all of us. But yeah, I just wanted to call that out because I know it's coming up soon. It's usually at the end of the month, which I think means that the awards is probably not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So that'll be nice too, coming off of Juneteenth, you know. But yeah, so that should be cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. My last topic is about women on the internet who do things for their men, and people berate them. people absolutely roast them for doing nice things for their men. I think we need to have a real conversation about why this is so triggering for so many people. Here's the thing. I know that it seems far-fetched, and I know that it seems crazy, ridiculous, scarce even. But some people are actually in relationships that they're happy with. I would even argue some people, maybe not all of those people on the internet, but some of them are likely in healthy, positive, loving relationships where, it doesn't hurt so much to do something nice for the person you're with. You should want to do things for the person you're with. Like, you should want, like, things should be good enough. You should be in a good space enough to want to do things. Not everything. Listen, I'm not personally never been interested in a man who wants to be with his mom. Like, who wants to date a woman who is going to behave like his mom, or be his mother, because there are those. Not interested in that. So I can understand some people kind of toe that line a little bit. In fact, I was watching this show on Netflix, and this woman calls her man dad, which is weird because normally you'd like hear people calling their husbands or whoever daddy, which is, we could unpack that another day. I probably have already somewhere on this podcast, but it's weird too because her dad is no longer alive. And it just seems really strange to be calling. And then she's like, yeah, like sometimes he's my brother and sometimes he's my dad. And I was just like, girl, your nigga is not your dad or your brother. He's also not a nigga. But anyway, so whatever. I digress. The point is, some people like doing things for the people they love. Some people like doing things for the people they care about. That even means that some people like doing things for the people that are in relationships with them. Now, let me describe what I mean, because maybe I'm not being clear. So there's like a section of TikTok where there are women who are like, come with me to make lunch for my man. And there's actually this couple, stumbled upon their videos a while back, and the guy, his whole TikTok is around the fact that his girlfriend makes him lunch every day and puts little love notes in his lunch bag. So he takes video every day of him opening his lunch, and he'll like say, oh, she packed me crackers and cheese, or oh, she made me pasta salad, or this and that. And then he'll make sure there's a note. I remember one time there was no note and he was upset, and he called her like, babe, where's my note? I didn't get a note today. She was like, I knew that you were gonna be I knew that was gonna throw you into a tailspin. It was actually hilarious. But her TikTok is mostly about the meals she prepares for this same man. They seem very happy together and very happy with the fact that she makes him lunch every day. People are sick that this woman makes her man lunch every day. On some planet, maybe he's a good man. What a novel idea. Maybe he actually is a good man. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what some of you are thinking. You're probably thinking, well, what about the fucked up dudes? What about the people who don't deserve it? Well, don't make them lunch. Don't make them lunch. They don't deserve lunch. They don't deserve dinner. There's this other woman who also packs her husband's lunch, and it's like intense. She's like a clean talk person, so she's very methodical and very organized. She has like this special lunch bag where it fits his water that's like has chlorophyll in it, and then it has his muscle milk, and then his carrots in one section, his sandwich in another section, his coffee. Like it's a whole contraption. I saw that one day. I said, wow, that's a lot of work, girl. And then you gotta film it too. Jeez. And then there was another day where she seemed like she did even more that day. And I remember looking at the comments, people being like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you doing this for this man? And she was like, because my man is good to me and he's good to our family. And he goes, I think he's a trucker or something like that. So he goes on these long, he's driving all day. So she tries to make sure that he has everything he needs on the road. I thought that was really sweet. I was like, oh, okay. And you said the man is a good man. He takes care of you. He takes care of your children. Like, I don't know. Am I supposed to be mad at that? Why y'all mad at that? Why does that bother people? I know that some of us have been scorned. And I know that some of us have encountered some really shit men. But this is not an ad for men, just so I'm clear, because I think it goes both ways. But I just think it's hilarious. I think it's so funny that there are all these people that are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you do this every day. Well, yeah. Yeah. There's also some men who cook for their women every day. The women can't cook, but they can. So they cook for their women every day. It's funny because nobody complains about that. Everybody's usually like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. I wish I had a guy like that. Come on, guys. Come on. I just think it's funny. I think some of it is a lot. Like, it's strenuous, meaning I just don't know if it's realistic. But my thing is, if it's realistic for you and it's not realistic for me, well, that's fine, because I'm not in your relationship. And maybe there's ways that I give that is not that. I think it just depends. It depends on your situation. It depends on your lifestyle. And it depends on whether or not this person is worthy of it or not. There's like, I also saw, because I want to keep it balanced, I also saw there's this guy who every day, I think his wife is a resident. I think she's a resident. But anyway, he gets up every morning. He doesn't have to be up early. He gets up every morning, and while she gets ready for work, he packs her lunch. Hello. Let's normalize being in these seemingly, we don't know what's going on in those people's bedroom. We don't know what's going on in those people's lives. But seemingly healthy relationships, it's okay to do things for your partner. It's okay to do things for your partner. At least I think so. And I think it's hilarious to read comments of people that just, women specifically, that are just like, I can't believe this. Well, if your man doesn't deserve it, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. And vice versa. If you not stepping up to the plate, he not gonna make you dinner either. He not gonna pack your lunch either. And maybe that's just not the dynamic you have. But what if it is? Is it that terrible? I don't know. Maybe I should find some of these videos and like stitch them or something online, because I think it's interesting. I also think that if you're someone who's like super like you're super organized. Sometimes the reason you don't want the other person doing things is because you are trying to maintain that organization that you've already set up. That's also probably part of it for the people who are like super anal retentive. But who knows? The point of the matter is, I wanted to bring this up because I was like, I don't really understand what the beef is. And I guess in some ways I do understand what the beef is. I understand. I don't understand what the beef is with these people, but I understand why y'all are so triggered. And I get it, but maybe try not being triggered by someone else's relationship and put a little bit more effort into your own. Or if that person ain't doing what they're supposed to do, fuck them. Goodbye. Goodbye. What does the read say? Break up with him? Break up with her. Who knows? Anyway, that's my last topic. I don't think we have anything else to discuss except for tweet of the week. So there was no tweet of the week earlier this week. I know there were 2 episodes this week. There was no tweet of the week, so I'm gonna give you 2 tweets of the week this week. So the first one is from I Am Mary Pryor. She says, LinkedIn is really turning into Facebook with a suit on, and I don't like it at all. And she's right. Like, LinkedIn is a weird place these days. You go on to like look at jobs and, you know, network and things, and people are like, hey, just really excited to announce the arrival of my 3rd child. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Or, hey, went to the mall and saw this. Okay. On LinkedIn. All right. That's odd. It's a very strange place. And then on the other hand, people are like, I'm happy to announce that I will be starting a new position at company XYZ as vice president of QRS. It's weird. It's weird. And I guess that's where we're at with social media and social networking, is everything is kind of fused together in this weird mishmash of things. I don't know, it's a little odd, but you know, that's that. And then the next tweet of the week was from Mafioso Ro. She put, I think adults need summer vacation. Like, let's just close down all our jobs for 3 months and play outside. Please, I'm so tired. I agree. That's self-explanatory. I agree. Okay? 3 months off right now would be phenomenal. Amazing. Just please and thank you. But until then, you know, we'll power through. And that is our episode for today. I will see y'all next week. Bye.